Oh, we're not going to worry about the timer. Hi, everybody. This is Tom. Oh, my ring light is not on. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Now I look like a human being. Got to work hard to look like a human being. Hope everybody's had a good Monday. I'm Thom Campbell. I am the executive and career coach and the owner of Stella Nova Coaching, where I try to help you fall in love with your job again. And I am, at the moment, trying to get my technology to work. There we go. All right. We had snow last night. I've got my fire going. I've got my warm, yummy dinner here in front of me that I apologize that I'm going to be eating while I'm talking. I've been doing these office hours for a while. I've got, Trina. You're watching. How's it going? I've been doing these office hours for a while. Actually, Trina, I've been meaning to call you. So at some point, let's touch base in the next little bit. I hope all is well. I was thinking about you just earlier today. Again, hi, everybody. My name is Thom Campbell. I am an executive and career coach and the owner of Stella Nova Coaching, where I help you fall in love with your job again. And that might mean getting a new job. It might mean staying where you are and changing some things that you have control over rather than other people. We don't have control of other people. And that is a big mistake that a lot of people make. We spend a lot of energy trying, or maybe not trying, just lamenting the fact that other people are doing things that we don't want them to do. Excuse me. So, did you guys get snow in New York, Trina? We had snow here. We had about 1/4 inch of snow on the grass in Northern Virginia. It was very pretty with blue sky and a little bit of snow on the ground. Very nice this morning. Hi, everybody. Again, Thom Campbell. These are my office hours. Stella Nova Coaching is my business. I'm an executive and career coach, and I help people fall in love with their jobs again. I help executive teams function better. I help executives operate in a way that makes them happier. And so I can do a lot of things. Oh, you did have rain. No snow. I like snow. Thankfully, I like snow. Anyway, tonight I thought we would talk about being stuck. And if you're stuck, then you're in the right place. Being stuck can look like a lot of different things. Being stuck can, and if you're here, by the way, and I cannot see you necessarily, I need to, the only way I know you're watching is if you put a comment in the chat. I know that people tell me later, oh yeah, I dropped in on your office hours, but there's no way I know that unless you say something in the chat. And so please do, if you're here. Trina, I know you're here, so that's nice. Being stuck is an awful feeling. And it can look like a lot of things. It can look like being bored. It can look like, hi, Dana. Third time listener. Long-time fan. Yes, I know. I am a long-time fan of both of you, Trina and Dana. Excellent people excellent former colleagues. But being stuck can look like a lot of things. You don't necessarily need to be unhappy. You could be bored. You might be burned out. You might be uncomfortable and not know why. So, and I'm talking about being stuck in a job. There's other places you can get stuck in your life, but we're not going to talk about those. But the same process applies for those as well. So being stuck is, if you think of moving forward as a good thing, being stuck is not moving forward. staying in the same place or even moving backwards. And if you're staying in the same place and you want to move forward, then you're stuck. If you're staying in the same place and you're happy there, then you're not stuck. You're just parked and you're happy. That's fine. You know, if you park your car on the side of the road, you're parked. It's not moving, but it was intentional. If you park your car on the side of the road and it snows overnight and you can't move it out of the spot because it's stuck in the snow, now it's stuck. Stuck only means stuck if you want to not be stuck. If you want to not be where you are. And that's exactly what coaching does. Coaching does, it takes people from where they are to where they want to be. And that sounds simple, but it's not. A lot of people don't know where they want to be, or they think they know where they want to be, and it's not really where they want to be. They work very hard to get someplace, and then they're not happy. I don't know how many people, how many lawyers I have known in my life who dislike being lawyers. They say, "Oh, I really hate law. I really don't like being a lawyer." And I usually ask them, "Well, how did you like law school?" And they often say, "I hated law school." Well, that's kind of a sign. You know, if you hate law school, you're probably not going to like being a lawyer. If you hate training to be a plumber, you're not going to enjoy being a plumber. If you hate the journey to get to a place, you're probably not going to like the place very much, or even if you do, it's not going to last very long. And that's, you know, so being stuck is awful, because if the journey is what matters, being stuck is you're not on the journey. You're on the journey, but you're not moving forward. So, I was feeling weak. I need a little food. So what does it take to get out of being stuck? Again, hi, I'm Thom Campbell. I'm the executive and career coach, the owner of Stella Nova Coaching. And these are my office hours, my career and job coaching office hours. If anybody would like to, if anybody has a question, or anybody would like to even come on with me, that would be great. But if you do have a question, please put it in the chat. If you don't have a question, say something in the chat anyway. I'd like to know you're here, and that's really the only way I know. So how do you know you're stuck? It's a very simple concept. It's hard to do in practice, but how do you know you're stuck? You were constantly thinking that you should be somewhere else. You have a feeling that you should be somewhere else. You might not be actively trying to be somewhere else. That doesn't mean you're not stuck. I've known people who've had the same job for 15 years, 20 years, and they are not stuck. They're happy. They found their place in the world, and that's where they like to be, and that is absolutely wonderful for them. I don't judge anybody that. I think if that's where you are, I think that's outstanding. If you're happy where you are, you're not stuck. It's pretty simple. So, what do you do if you're stuck? Well, if you're stuck, it means you want to be somewhere else. So the first thing you have to figure out is, where do you want to be? The next thing you have to figure out is and be super honest with yourself, is about where are you? Because where you want to be and where you are related, are connected. Trina says, I have been speaking to students that feel stuck and are struggling with imposter syndrome. Absolutely. I think it's important for folks to disconnect from what society tells us is normal. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There's no normal. Absolutely. There's no normal. If you think there's a normal, I'm going to blame capitalism. Capitalism and marketing, which are not unrelated. But yes, students are stuck and struggling with imposter syndrome. I was thinking about this just today, as a matter of fact. We watch television, we watch media, we watch movies. They're produced to look a certain way. You know, if you watch a fight scene in an Avengers movie or John Wick, or you know, if you hit, you know, when they hit somebody, it makes a big noise. If you've ever actually been in a fight and seen somebody get hit, it doesn't make a noise. It doesn't make a big noise. It makes a little noise. If you see an argument on camera, on screen, usually it's very witty and there's a lot of back and forth. That's not what normal arguments are like. There is no normal, right? People stumble. People who you know, movies are written, they're scripted. Anything you see on television is highly edited. And so we look at these things and our brains say, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be like. That's not real life. So it increases the sense of imposter syndrome in people to watch things on. That's why I like TikTok. TikTok, I feel like, is kind of real. I feel like people they show up as themselves on TikTok. It's not curated. You know, you look at Instagram, oh my gosh, that's curated. Facebook, even to a point, is curated. You know, people put their Christmas pictures up. They put their wonderful family events up. You don't see the ugliness behind it. You don't see, you know, the whining, screaming children. Usually, I will say, when my son was 2 years old, my youngest, he was not feeling well one Thanksgiving, and we got together and he just cried and cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. He just would not. He could not be consoled, and he just whined and winced and cried, and he was just so uncomfortable. And it came time for the family picture, and the photographer tried to cheer him up. Everybody tried to cheer. It was just, he just was not having any of it. The best picture we got of him, he's not crying, but he's got a face that you know he's not happy. And that, I love that. I just thought that was so real. I love it now. I didn't like it then. At that point, the picture is irrelevant, but I felt bad for him. But you know, when people are hurting, they need to hurt. It's okay. You know, you push that down, it comes out sideways. So we look at the curated pictures on Facebook. We look at the curated pictures on Instagram, and we think something's wrong with us because we don't look like that. Now, I can take a picture of myself. I can turn on the filters that make me look like a teenager. I could turn on the filters that make me look like a clown. I could turn on the filters that make me look anyway. None of it's real. This is what I look like. And even this is curated a little bit because there's a ring light right here. All right, you can't see it, but there's a ring light. This is not, I look as good as I do, which is to say maybe not great, but I look as good as I do because I've spent a little time and effort trying to make sure the lighting is good, make sure that and it's not as good as it ought to be. I'm just looking and noticing that. But all of these things that we see online are telling us that we are not good enough. We are not like the people that we see online. We're not that clever. We're not that smooth. We're not that beautiful. We're not that young looking. We're not that strong. All of these things feed the imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is deep. It's shameful. People feel deep shame and fear. Imposter syndrome is fear. It's fear that you'll be found out that you are not as good as people think you are. And the irony is that you're far better. You are far, far better than people think you are. Everybody is. Everybody is a amazing, beautiful, infinitely powerful child of the universe, glowing ball of universe energy. I absolutely believe that. To the extent that you don't believe it about yourself, you're covered up. You're covered up with dirt and grime and things from society and from your brain and from physiology and everything else. None of that is who you are. None of it is who you are. You've got to separate who you are from where you are, right? Who you are is amazing. Where you are might be uncomfortable. Who you are doesn't change. I had a client tell me this week that they were upset because as they got older, they became less optimistic about the world. And they really missed that. And they didn't like who they had become. And I had to point out, I said, that's not who you are. You're always the same person. You've been the same person you were you're the same person now as you were when you were young. You're just other things going on. You've learned other things. That hasn't changed who you are though. And that's really, really important, I think, for people to understand. Imposter syndrome comes because we compare ourselves to other people. Comparison is the root of 90% of the unhappiness in the world. Stop it. And I say that it's easy to say that. It's really, really hard to do it. But what imposter syndrome does, and thank you for bringing it up, Trina. What imposter syndrome does is it brings up the fear. And the fear that you have, that you have inside, it comes from your limbic system, your brain stem, all of that. The fear shuts down your prefrontal cortex in part. The cortisol that your limbic system uses to communicate literally blocks signals from moving across your prefrontal cortex. And as a result, you do have a harder time thinking clearly when you're afraid. You have a harder time thinking clearly when you're nervous and when you're fearful that someone's going to find out that maybe you're not as good as they think you are. The imposter syndrome kicks in and actually creates a situation where you aren't as good as you could be in any given situation. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the answer is remind yourself every day, a dozen times a day, 100 times a day, that what's true is everything that you are. And by the way, there's no metric here. There's no metric that tells that one person is better than another person. That's society. That's a societal construct. We're all the same. And what you go through when you're not feeling the best and what you put yourself through, and I say you put yourself through it because it's your brain and it's your brain doing it. But the habits that we have, the saboteurs that we have, the gremlins in our heads, they're not our friends. They want you to think that they're your friends, but they're not your friends. And they're going to say ugly, nasty things about you. And that's one of the hardest things to get past. When you are stuck, chances are one of the reasons you're stuck is that you have gremlins that are telling you that moving one way or the other is too dangerous, that you're better off not moving at all. That's not true. It's not true. It is true that moving has risks. Of course it does. Taking action has risks. Not taking action has risks. Welcome to life. So if you've got risks, if you do nothing, or if you have risks, if you do something, doing something is better. So take small steps. If you're feeling stuck because of imposter syndrome, take small steps. Start changing your language. Stop saying things that put yourself down. Stop saying, that's just the way I am, or I'm not good at that. When I first started my coaching business, I would say, I know how to coach. I'm a good coach. I'm not a good business person. And I consciously stopped that, because that's not true. The fact is, I am a good coach. Yes, that's true. I am working on becoming a better business person. I am learning the business side of things. And one of the things I know about myself is I like to figure things out. And I'm figuring these things out. And it's fun. I enjoy learning. And I enjoy learning about the business. If I had constantly and continually kept saying, I'm not a good business person, I'm not a good business person, I never would become a good business person. I'm a far better business person now than I was a year ago. And in a year, I'll be better still. Next week, I'll be better than I am right now. I wasn't doing these things. I don't know that these things really, these office hours, I'm not sure how much they do, but it gives me a chance to talk. It gives me a chance, and I love to talk, as Dana and Trina both know. I love to talk. I'm a verbal processor. These are helpful things. Whether anybody is listening or not, which I think somebody's listening because I see a little one there, but I don't know who it is. By the way, if you're watching and you haven't put something in the chat, please do. That way I know you're watching. But being stuck and recognizing that you're stuck is the first step. Recognizing that you're stuck, acknowledging that you're stuck, not judging yourself because you're stuck. That is a big no. There's no judgment. I am stuck. That's all you need to say. Trina says it says 2. Okay. Well, I hope it is 2. Being judgmental is a hard no. Being judgmental about yourself, being judgmental about other people. If you find yourself being judgmental at all, shut it down. Change your language. Change your mindset. Because the judgment that you put on other people is in direct, and this is really, really important. The judgment that you put on other people is in direct proportion to the judgment you put on yourself, whether you know it or not. You cannot judge other people without judging yourself, and you cannot judge anybody without damaging yourself and your relationships. Do not judge. Do everything you can. If you notice you're judging, stop it. Start small. Don't judge other drivers in traffic. I know we all do it. Don't do it. Make sure, The guy that's tailgating you, don't judge him. They're just another person, or another person with thoughts and feelings and story behind whatever's going on in their life. It doesn't help to judge them, and it hurts you to do it. Doesn't hurt them. They don't know you're doing it. It hurts you. So don't judge. So the first thing to do, if you're stuck, recognize that you are, and then decide, where would you like to be? Where would you rather be? If you're at A and you want to be at B, and you got to get from A to B, you're at A and you want to get to B, and you want to get to A to B, that's coaching. If you're stuck, you're at A. What is B? What does B look like? How does it feel if you got there? B might be another physical place, another job, another city. Or it might be a different mindset. Or it might be a different approach to what you're doing. But I guarantee you, whatever it is, if you're at A and you want to be at B, B is a happier place than A. Else, there's no other reason you'd want to be there. And if it's not a happier place, you got to ask yourself, why do I want to go there? Even if it's money related. And let me talk about that for a minute. Even if it's money related. Let's say you make $100,000, you want to make $200,000. Okay, I want to be at $200,000. Why do I want to be at $200,000? Why is that my B? Well, I'll be able to buy more things. I won't have to worry so much about bills. Okay, so you'll be less anxious. Sure. Okay, so you'll be happier. Okay. Let's say it's not about bills. Let's say you just want more money. I want more money. Why? Well, I want to buy a boat. I want to buy a second house. I want to buy a house. Why? What would buying a house give you? Oh, it would be good for my family. Oh, and doing something good for your family would make you happy. See, B is always a happier place than A. We wind up saying we disrespect emotion in the business world. We say, oh, happy is it's like, it's not about being happy. It is about being happy. It's all about being happy and being happier than you are. It's all about that. If you think it's not, I can talk to you and maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be, but I am almost positive I'm not. It's all about being happier. My mother used to say, she'd get upset when I was little. I remember, and she'd complain about having to go to some meeting or having to clean the kitchen, and I said, well, you don't have to clean the kitchen. And she goes, yes, I do. It's messy. I say, okay, but you don't have to clean the kitchen. And she'd say, but I don't want it to be messy. Oh, so you want to clean the kitchen? No, I have to clean. No, you don't have to clean the kitchen. You want the kitchen clean, and that's how you have decided that it can be clean. Wanting and needing to do something, there's no need. There's no needing to do something that's in any kind of objective sense. There's no needing to do anything. I need to eat. No, I don't. I don't need to eat. I want to eat. If I want to live, If I want to live, I need to eat. There's always a second half to it. So there's no need all by itself. It's always got a second half. I need to eat to feel better. If I want to feel better, I need to eat. If I want to live, I need to breathe. If I want to continue living, I need to clean the kitchen so that the kitchen is clean. What would having a clean kitchen do for me? It would make me happy. It's all about happy. It's all about happy. Having a business, having a coaching business makes me happy. If I won the lottery tomorrow, I would still have a coaching business. It would probably look very different. My background would look very different, but I would still have a coaching business because I love coaching. So if you're stuck, think of a car stuck in the snow. If you don't want to move your car, you're not stuck. Only if you want to move your car and you can't, are you stuck. So if you've decided that you are stuck, now you think, where do you want to be? The more you can describe that and be clear about your goal, the more powerful that goal will be. Then think about where you are and be honest about where you are. Be honest about why you feel the way you do where you are. What is keeping you stuck? Once you've figured out where you are and where you want to be, now it's a simple matter of figuring out how to get from A to B. But there's another part to it. What's going to stop you? What's going to get in your way? What voices in your head are going to shout you down? You've got saboteurs, you've got family and friends. Let's say I want to I don't know. Let me think. Anybody have a goal? Anybody think they're stuck in any part of their lives? Anybody who's listening, put where you think you might be stuck. I was going to come up with some hypothetical, but I think it made me more interesting to take something that somebody actually is dealing with. Again, my name is Thom Campbell. I am a certified executive and career coach and the owner of Stella Nova Coaching, where I help you fall in love with your job again. And be happier. That's why I do what I do. I want you to be happier. If you're stuck and you think you're stuck in any area of your life, I'll give you an example. I don't get enough sleep. I wish I got more sleep. I feel a little bit stuck trying to get as much sleep as I need to get. Okay, so that's my goal, to get more sleep. Okay. What does that look like? So I need to describe that. I think enough sleep is 8, maybe 9 hours even for me. I think that this goal resonates with somebody. Thank you. I think I want to get more sleep. So let's say let's go bold. I want to get 9 hours a night. Okay. So that's my goal, to get 9 hours of sleep a night. I'm not getting 9 hours of sleep a night. So I guess in a way I'm stuck on that goal. So one of the important things to understand is, why do I want to get 9 hours of sleep a night? And I need to be really clear about that. How will I feel if I get 9 hours of sleep a night? How will I function? Do I want to function differently than I function now? Do I want to feel different than I feel now? Why do I want 9 hours of sleep a night? Maybe I'm doing okay. And this is what I mean. So when you start looking at the why, you start looking at, what about getting 9 hours of sleep a night is important to you. It's important to me. Maybe it's not that important to me. Asking yourself why and why and why and why and why might reveal that maybe this thing that you want really is not that important to you. And so any amount of resistance or distraction will take you away from taking action on it. And that may be why you feel stuck. Maybe you don't need to move your car. Maybe your car is in a fine place and you want to leave it there, and you want to take a walk in the snow. Now you're not stuck. So understanding the why is very, very important. But for me, I want to get 9 hours sleep a night, let's say, because I know that I function so much better. I feel so much better during the day. My brain is clearer. It helps with my ADHD. It takes me out of the constant fatigue mode during the day. So great. I want to get 9 hours sleep a night. And I can do that by going to bed at midnight and getting up at 9 a.m. Oh, but wait, I have a meeting tomorrow at 8 a.m. So I've got to get up at like 7. Okay, so that means I need to go to bed by 10. Whew, that's only a couple hours away. I'm not sure. Okay, so now you're sort of looking at where you are. You're at A. How you get to B. You know what B looks like, but now it doesn't seem possible because you're at, can I get to bed at 10 and get up at 7? I guess I could. That's what's required if my motivation is strong enough to overcome my habit of staying up later. Because ultimately what you're doing is changing habits, changing these mental habits you have. You overcome that habit. Let's say I go to bed at 10. Great. Now I'm going to go to bed at 10. I'm going to get at 7, 9 hours sleep, have my meeting. I'm going to feel great tomorrow. Great. What else do I need to do? Well, in order to go to bed at 10, I need to do a little bit of planning so that I can get all the things done that I need to get done by 10. I got to start my laundry before then so that I can put it in the dryer before I go to bed. I have got to make sure that there are other things in my life. And this is where the motivation gets impacted by other priorities, because nobody has just one priority. We all have multiple, dozens of priorities in our lives. If the only thing I had to do was go to bed at 10 and get 9 hours sleep, that's easy. But that's not the only thing I have to do. I have to do a lot of other things. I've got things for the business to do. I've got things for my day job to do. I've got laundry to do. I would like to clean up the house a little bit. Somebody's coming over tomorrow. So it's all about, well, it's not all about, but the motivation for taking care of something, my motivation for going to bed at 10 p.m. is going to be impacted by the priorities in my life. Where does that goal fall in the priorities? Is it the most important? Let's say tomorrow I've got a big presentation. If I had a big presentation and that presentation was super important, so going to bed and getting a good night's sleep is a super important thing to do, then it becomes the biggest priority by far, and it happens because it's a function in part of the priorities and the relativeness of that priority in your life. So there's a lot of things that go into the idea of if you're stuck, this is why you're stuck. It's not a failing on your part. It's not a failing on anybody's part. More than anything, it's a lack of awareness of the dynamic that's going on. It's about taking action. Coaching is about taking action, forward action, moving forward toward your goals, taking action to change something, change where you are, change where you're going. And the other side of that is that everything is always changing anyway. So it's not a question of do you want to change or not? It's a question because you're going to, because that's the nature of life. It's a question of where and how do you want to change? Do you want to change in the direction that you want to change in? That's the point. Again, hi everybody. My name is Thom Campbell. I'm an executive and career coach, the owner of Stella Nova Coaching. These are my office hours where you can ask anything you'd like about jobs, careers, life, anything at all. I see if you're listening, if you're watching, and you please put a note in, say hi in the chat so I know you're here. It's the only way I know. We're talking about being stuck. We're talking about how to get from A to B. I'm a very, I've been doing this a long time, informally, and more formally, I've been doing it a shorter time formally, but while coaching is not rocket science, it's certainly more complicated than you might think. And I've learned a lot just in the last 6 months about coaching and about what works and what doesn't. And I've got a presentation in a week and a half that I need to give, and I've got 2 presentations in January. I'm excited about giving these presentations. I really am looking forward to working with more organizations on coaching. So these are my goals, right? What am I willing to do to get there? What is their priority in my life? So it's 8:15. I think if anybody has any questions, please put them in the chat. But I am going to wrap it up in case if nobody else has anything. If anybody does, please put it in the chat or reach out to me personally. Reach out to me on through LinkedIn, through Facebook, and let's talk. Again, my name is Thom Campbell. I'm a certified executive and career coach, the owner of Stella Nova Coaching, where I can help you fall in love with your job again. And I hope you all have a terrific week. And we will see you next week on December the 18th. Have a great Monday night and a great week, everybody. Bye.